The Fat Controller walked along the station to his office. He was in a good mood. Something exciting had happened, and an important train in relation to it had finally been sorted. It was going to involve a lot of time and effort, but he knew it would be worth it in the end. As Henry was taking the express today, he had asked for Gordon to collect the train. When the Fat Controller entered his office, however, something immediately caught his eye. He hurried to the window and stared in shock as a big blue engine sat in a murky ditch. "Gordon?" he exclaimed. "What on earth?" He was cut off by the telephone, which he promptly picked up. When he listened, he was even more bewildered. So Gordon didn't want to take the special train and ran into a ditch? "What's that you say? The special is waiting? Oh, tell Edward to take it, please. And Gordon? Oh, leave him where he is. We haven't time to bother with him now." The Fat Controller put the telephone down and slumped back in his chair. "Oh, Gordon," he sighed. Edward was equally surprised when he heard the news. "In a ditch?" he said. "I swear I only left him a few minutes ago." "It never takes him long to get himself in trouble, does it?" laughed his driver. "Ah well, come on then, Edward. Let's see what this special train's all about." Soon, Edward steamed into the yards. On the line next to him stood a long goods train. Most of the trucks appeared to be loaded with even older wagons and machinery. All were very rusty, but still seemed to be intact. "Is this the special train?" asked Edward, now wondering if Gordon's decision was somewhat understandable. "Indeed it is," smiled the foreman, who had walked up to him. "Workmen were clearing out the sidings and found many leftover stock. The Fat Controller wants it all to be restored for usage or for preservation. But it isn't just stock they found," he added, pointing to the front of the train. From a distance, Edward could make out something large standing atop a long flatbed. He chuffed forward, and when he stopped alongside, he gasped. Sitting on the flatbed was an old steam engine. It was just as rusty as the wagons, and had several parts missing. It peered down at Edward with a tired expression, but then its eyes slightly widened, as if it recognized the blue engine. Edward felt the same, certain that this engine was familiar. After a while, it sank in. "Ernest?" he whispered. "Edward? Is that you?" The two old engines just stared at each other, not sure at first what to say. I thought you were scrapped," Edward finally said. "You were taken away, just after—" "I was supposed to be," grunted Ernest. "I was shunted into a siding here, and was told I would be dealt with later. That was many years ago now, I believe. And in that time, I was just left here, alone. They sometimes took parts from me, but otherwise, it seems I was forgotten by the manager. Not too sure I should consider that a blessing," he wheezed. "You seem very well, though. Are you still an express engine?" "Oh, good Lord, no," chuckled Edward. "I was taken off the express years ago. I now only take smaller passenger trains and trucks." "You were right. It wasn't mine forever." Ernest looked down shamefully. "You still remember?" "I'm sorry, Edward, for what I said. I can't forget it. It was truly a disgraceful way to go out." "That's all right," replied Edward. "Truthfully, Ernest, I don't really blame you. Some time ago, I had no work to do and was left in the sheds for a long time. I was bored, but also unhappy. The others just laughed, saying they only wanted big, strong engines like themselves. I feared the worst. But one day, a kind driver and fireman took me out, and I've been in regular service ever since. I'm very grateful for that, but with all that time in the sheds, I think I understand how you were feeling, Ernest. But I'm happy to see you've been found, he smiled. Yes, indeed, said Ernest. The workers stumbled upon me when inspecting the sidings and brought over the controller, Sir Topham Hatt, I believe. He was delighted and said he would have me restored. Well then, puffed Edward, we better get a move on then. Soon Edward was coupled up in front of Ernest and pulled the long train out of the yards. I just noticed something, called Ernest. I was told that a number 4 engine would pick me up. But you're number 2. Oh, that would be Gordon, explained Edward. And he was, but there was a sudden dip in his availability, so I came instead. I see. As the train trundled along, Ernest observed his surroundings, and it became clear just how much had changed, from the stations to the yards to the many engines they passed, all of which gave him a surprised look. I forgot to ask, Ernest, what will you do once you're restored? Inquired Edward. I'm not actually sure. Sir Topham didn't say. I did consider I might be put into regular service, but I don't know about that. Then they steamed through the junction. A little tank engine sat at the platform with 2 coaches. He whistled to Edward, who replied the same way. That's Thomas, if you're wondering, he said to Ernest. He runs the branch line up to the stone quarry. Does he now? Answered Ernest thoughtfully. That's where Lily and Liam used to work. Are they still around? I'm afraid I don't know. They were sent away shortly after Thomas took over the line. Last I heard, they went to work somewhere on the other railway. Who knows where they are now? Both engines said no more, and stayed respectfully silent for the rest of the way. At the works, Ernest was shunted into a siding. Many workers were waiting, ready to inspect him and begin the restoration. Thank you very much, Edward, smiled Ernest, and safe travels. I hope to see you again soon. Same to you, my friend, replied Edward. Take care. With that, Edward puffed away. For him, it was back to business as usual. But for Ernest, a new beginning was in store for him. The years went by, and many things had happened. Edward rescued an old traction engine called Trevor, Percy was relocated to Thomas's branch line, and a Great Western tank engine, named Duck, was brought in to run the yards. One day, Edward and Gordon sat at the big station, waiting to leave with their trains. Just then, Duck arrived, shunting some very odd-looking coaches alongside the platform. They were spotless, with shiny new paint, but also had short, wooden bodies. "Did we just go back in time?" exclaimed Gordon. "Where did you get those?" "Oh, they came from the works this morning," chuckled Duck. "They're here for a special rail tour, though I don't know who's taking it." He left the coaches and ran onto a siding. No sooner had he stopped, they all heard a whistle, echoing around town. Never heard that whistle before," grunted Gordon. "I have!" cried Edward. He suddenly got excited. Soon they could see an engine puff round the corner and approach the coaches. "Ernest!" whistled Edward. "You're here!" The old engine grinned as he backed onto his train. "Hello, Edward," he said. "I apologize for the long wait. It took more work than everyone expected." "Oh, don't worry about that. It's just wonderful to see you again." "So, you're taking a rail tour?" "Indeed. It was certainly a lovely surprise. Sir Topham had talked with me about it, and we agreed that rail tours would be just right for me. Trains nowadays aren't quite what they were in my time." "Oh, where are my manners?" laughed Edward. "This is Gordon, our express engine. And that's Duck, he shunts here." "Ah, so you're Gordon. You're quite the size, aren't you? Happy to see the express is in good buffers?" Gordon felt very flattered. "You've heard of me before?" "Yes, Edward mentioned you. Apparently you were meant to deliver me to the works when I was found, but you were unavailable. Remember that special train you were supposed to take a few years back, Gordon?" asked Edward, sweetly. Gordon suddenly did. "Oh, that train? That was you? I didn't know that." "Oh, it's all right, it can't be helped. Things can often take an unexpected turn, I should know." Edward and Duck just looked at each other knowingly. "And a pleasure to meet you, Duck. Thank you for bringing my coaches. I wish we had more time to chat. Tell you what, I'll ask if I can stay at your sheds tonight. I would love to see the other engines." "I know they would love to meet you too," replied Edward. Before long, Ernest let out a powerful whistle and snorted out of the station. The others watched on, all delighted and impressed. Ernest couldn't be happier. He knew his days as an express engine were far behind him. But with a new responsibility and new friends to make, what more could he want?